lost the little foxes. They're feasting on our vine. They're cruel
Okay.
and they are
Yeah.
And we're back again.
Yay!
Winter is definitely here, babe.
We're freezing
It is
outside.
cold, rainy. I've always called this time of year Texas snow.
Yeah.
Water everywhere.
So y'all come on in where it's warm with us.
Got a fire going.
We're gonna talk about something hot today.
That's right. Hot. Hot.
I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but
Well,
yeah, we're actually going to talk about the top 3 predictors of infidelity and how to protect your marriage from them. Ay.
I don't think a lot of people don't know these things.
They don't, and I think the thing is, we're not trying to like scare people,
No.
and we're not trying to I don't know, make people feel, oh my gosh, do I need to go check out what my spouse is doing? This is
Right.
just more like, statistically what the top 3 predictors are, and more importantly, how can you guard your marriage against it?
Absolutely.
That's really where we want to go with it. That's where we want to land.
Right. Exactly what we're just giving you the tools to look at and to recognize the things that lead up to infidelity. It's not going to be that case for every person. There might be some people here who are not emotionally attached, but they're married.
Yeah, and I would say, not every case is not the same for
Right.
sure. And a lot of times what's underneath is trauma
Mhm.
causing some personality issues or causing some behavior issues. So, you can't always just say, okay, well, it's just one of these predictors. That's not it. I
Right.
mean, everybody's case is different, but I think generally speaking, for most people, some of these predictors are true. Even if there is
Absolutely.
underlying trauma, I think that just makes it
Right.
worse.
Right.
Okay.
I agree.
So, I love the scripture, and I'm writing a book about it. I have a song about it. It's
Yeah.
actually what we use on this podcast. It's
She's
called
very
Catch the
talented,
Foxes.
guys.
Oh, thank you.
Very, very.
It's from Song of Solomon 2:15. Catch for us the foxes, the little foxes that ruin the vineyard. So that's really what that scripture is all about. Is hey, let's catch these things in our relationship so that it doesn't destroy our vineyard
Right.
where it came from. And it's little things.
Right.
It's often these little things that escalate into something much bigger. And
Yes.
isn't that what happened to you?
Yeah, that's what happened. But, my situation was a tad different. It goes back childhood. And the military just made it worse. You know, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
There's always
do you think if our marriage had been stronger, I'm not saying it was bad because I don't think it was terrible. I just think we
no.
didn't know each other fully. But do you
Well,
think if our marriage had been stronger, maybe some of that wouldn't have happened or no?
maybe, maybe.
Yeah.
I was a very sick guy,
It
and I had a
was
lot of pent up anger and hurt and stress and stuff. So, a lot of stuff that was built up, a lot of stuff that I never resolved, and it will eat at. It'll wait. You can put a wall up all you want to, a thick wall, no matter how thick it is. It'll slowly over time eat through it,
yeah.
and then when it exposes itself, you realize you were so deep into sin and so deep into you know things you should not be doing as a married man or as a single person, and you're doing them anyway just to get that feeling, a
Yeah.
rush or whatever it is, instead of talking to your spouse. Say, hey man, I'm bored. I need to do something. I need to do
Yeah.
guy stuff. Um, but it's not just about doing things. It's about communication.
Yeah.
You gotta talk. You gotta watch each other emotions and like just like today, a situation came up today and it's had me stressed out. Oh God, it's had me stressed out for a week now, I guess.
Mm.
And I just I was thinking I was fine. You're like, dude, you're worked up. What's going on? And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. But obviously I wasn't. Um,
Yeah.
but you know,
I mean, you were not remembering things correctly. You were just I could tell the anxiety
yeah,
was super high, and that was stressing me out too. So, uh, yeah, just
yeah,
learning your spouse and not in a judgmental way, but be like, hey, I noticed that you're really stressed out.
right. Right.
Let's figure out why. Like, so I go into counselor mode as usual, and I'm like, well, do you know why you feel that way? No, not really. Let's talk
Yes.
about
Let's
it.
talk about it. So we're going to do
And
that first one, emotional disconnect.
yeah, so let's talk about, you know, th- the first predictor of possible infidelity
Yeah.
would be
Well,
emotional disconnect.
I think that whenever something like that is going on, you involuntarily disconnect the person.
What do you mean something like what?
Well, if it's infidelity, if
Well,
it's happening,
but that's what this is saying.
oh, it's a
Hey, no, this
precursor.
could lead to infidelity if there's an emotional disconnect in your
Mm,
marriage from your spouse. So what does that
right,
look like? That can look like you stop talking about how you really feel, which is what we were just saying.
right.
You become roommates instead of partners. I've
And your
seen that.
conversations turn logistical instead of rather
Yes. Are
than a
you picking up the
connection.
kids? She has this. Pick her up at 3:15. He has this. I'm picking up groceries. I need you to stop and get this. Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, about
Very,
right.
very logistical. Very boring.
Yeah, right. You don't laugh together. I mean,
Hmm.
I tend to think that I'm a pretty funny guy.
Well, yeah, a lot of couples stop laughing together,
Well,
and
and laughing has a effect on your brain.
right,
Laughter helps you release those feel good feelings,
right,
feel good, whatever they're
yeah,
called.
like dopamine,
Yeah,
yeah,
dopamine. And the more you laugh, the happier you are. And when couples become all business and forget that we're a married couple and just become like a couple that's living together, like
hmm
roommates, that's when the problems pop up.
yeah. And
Yeah.
how do you prevent that though?
Communication.
You
It's got to
think
be
it's
communication.
you think it's just communication?
Well, you got to connect on every level: physical, emotional, mental,
Oh,
sexual.
that's a good point. Okay, so what does that look like practically? You have you have to connect.
Sex.
That does fix a lot of things for some
It could
people,
fix a
right?
good thing for a
Hey,
man.
that's right. Okay,
Yeah. But
but
no, I think that go ahead. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
all right.
Go ahead.
So okay, you have to connect on every level. That
Mm,
probably works for a man. Women need some other different things.
right.
Women need to be heard.
Yeah.
They need to be heard. They need to know that you understand how they feel. Like if
See,
you,
we're doomed right there with that
yeah,
one phrase. We understand. We don't understand you guys at all. Y'all
yeah.
are an
And it's not
anomaly.
that we want you to fix it. I just want you to understand that I feel this way. Okay,
Right.
you just sit there and listen to me talk about how I feel for 4 hours. No, but I think a lot of it is simple. I think
Uh,
it's simple things like, you know, going on dates.
yeah.
Like, and not just going on a date to just go on a date, but actually date each other. I mean, like, what did you do before you got married? Tap into that spontaneity that you had
Right.
before. What did you guys do that was fun?
Yeah.
Try different things. Go different places. Don't
Absolutely.
keep going to the same restaurant every Friday night and ordering the same food. I mean, that's so
Right.
predictable and boring. And I think a lot of times what happens in a marriage is people get bored.
Yeah. I think so.
I mean, I hate to say it.
Yeah. I think they get bored in the marriage, and I think that once you get bored, the fire is gone. You quit communicating. There's no emotional. There's a serious emotional disconnect there,
Yeah.
and I think that yeah, definitely
But
do.
something worth saying though is just because you get bored in that relationship and you go have an affair, guess what? You're going to get bored with that eventually and you're going to do
Right.
it again. So if that's something like a pattern, then obviously there's something going on inside of the person that needs to be dealt with, right?
Yes.
But
Absolutely.
if we're just talking about a one-time situation, you got bored and you had an affair, which is still wrong. It makes you want to go back and say, okay, was there something we could have
Yeah.
done that would have prevented that?
Absolutely.
Because I don't think it's okay. I don't want to say that the person who had the affair, I don't want to push it back on the person who was betrayed and say, "Well, you had a part to play in this. You did something wrong too," because the person that had the affair had a choice.
Right.
They always have a choice,
There's always a choice
right?
involved. Yeah.
But could who have made the situation worse because of neglect of the marriage or because that is a fox that comes in.
It
Neglecting your
is.
spouse
Well, you get
is a
so
wide
caught up
open
in
door.
your world and my world.
Yeah,
Our
separate
worlds,
lives.
even though they intersect, construction wise and mortgaging wise, even though they've intersected once. Um,
Right.
horrible job. But I think that you get busy in your own world and you become, okay, I've got to provide. I'm a provider. I've got to work, got to work, got to work.
Yeah.
Well, because especially for a man. Now, women, I understand y'all do the same. I'm not saying y'all don't work.
I think women do this with the kids. They're like, I have to take care of the kids, and their kids become their whole life. I've seen that.
I have seen
And
that,
then
and it
the
is
kids
doomed.
graduate and move out, and the woman has no identity.
Yeah, because they get divorced,
They didn't know
and
each
then you've
other
got these
anymore.
kids in high school, and they're out having their life. And then when
Yeah.
they graduate and they leave, you're like, oh my God, I'm alone.
I'm alone because
Yeah,
I don't even know the person been married to for 20 years now.
right, right.
Because you grew apart. Because the truth is, the older you get, I mean, you people change. You just
Yeah.
change.
Well, it's a normal part of aging.
Yeah.
People change, your tastes change, what you enjoy changes sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, you and I, for example, we are in bed by 7:30 usually.
Mhm.
Other couples that we know, they're out partying at between 9 and
I don't really
11.
know any partiers, but I know people that stay up late.
Yeah, they stay up late. Yeah. But
Um,
that's what I meant. They're staying
yeah.
up late. They're socializing or whatever they're doing. I don't know what they do at 9 o'clock at night because I'm usually asleep.
Mhm.
But we just get caught in a rut.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, I'm tired. Okay, so we're not going to go anywhere just because we're tired.
Yeah. Sometimes you and I push through it. We
Well,
did that the other
sometimes
night. We're
we did
like,
that
we
the
are
other
going to
night.
stay out till 9 tonight. And we always have fun when we do it, But when we get home,
Absolutely.
we're wired and we can't go to sleep.
Right, right, right. But we had fun that night, though. We went to
Yeah.
what park was that?
Piney Park. Yeah.
Piney Park in Marshall.
Yeah.
If you guys live in the East Texas area, go try it. Go check it out. Their light tunnel is freaking cool.
Yeah, it's really fun.
It's a lot better
It's
than
really,
Santa.
most of the time people take their kids, but we were like, well, we just want to go see it.
Yeah, yeah. If you got little crib midgets out there, then they've got these big,
He
huge.
calls kids crib
They're
midgets,
crib midgets
y'all.
are monsters. It depends on the kid, but they've got these huge bladders of air, I guess,
Uh-huh.
and they're like 50 yards long.
Yeah.
They're huge, and you got
Trampoline
kids
thingy.
jumping around on them. They look
A
for the
jump
guy.
blob thing.
Yeah, they look like the fuel cells in the military. That's what I thought about when I saw. I was like, oh my God, what the fuel cells out here for? But yeah, they got a bunch of things for
Yeah.
kids. Santa was there this year. I didn't sit on his lap this time,
Right.
unfortunately. So, but anyway, another thing that can cause a disruption in marriage is you avoid emotion. You avoid conflict
Yeah.
because it's just exhausting.
Yeah,
You
so then
know,
you never work anything out because
you
you
don't work anything
avoid the
out.
conflict that goes with it.
And another thing is you hide it. You hide your anxiety. You
Yeah.
hide what you're upset about. And you're like, I'd rather just
That
not
was
say
you.
anything. Oh
That
yeah,
was you. And I mean, you hid that so well from me because you didn't want me to think less of you,
right.
I think. But
Yeah.
you were struggling with anxiety
I was having a hard
so
time
bad,
with
and
it.
there was a lot of emotional need there that I didn't know you had, or I could have helped meet that in
Mhm.
some way, but I didn't know.
Right.
So you felt all alone, and you felt
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I guess that led to some of the infidelity, I guess.
It could have. It did. There was a lot of factors involved. But yeah, if you feel that emotional disconnect and you don't feel like you can talk, and yeah, that definitely can. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so that was number one, emotional disconnect.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about,
Well, just how to protect it.
yeah, how do you protect your
Yeah.
marriage from that, which we kind of talked about, but like, creating these daily things like a check-in with each other.
Yes,
Quick.
absolutely. Praying together, we do that quite
Yeah,
often.
we do that, and that's probably what literally saved our
I
marriage.
think
Was It
so.
started with prayer.
Well, I was open to it.
Yeah, for
God
sure.
had just broken me down, and He continued to do that for a year, just break me down to nothing. There's this really cool TikTok going around about this little kid that's walking on stage. He says, God doesn't build you up when He wants to teach you something. He breaks you down. And when He breaks you down to your real self. I mean, these are my words, to your real self. And once you get down to who you really are and what you really are, then that's where God decides to start doing the work. And that makes sense, because if you got all these falsities stuck on you and all these little
Yeah.
attachments stuck on you, then God can't get to the real
Yeah, and you're
you.
pretending to be someone else.
Right. Yeah. But once He exposes everything, once He does what God does, we might not agree with the ways He does it. I did not agree with it at all, but it had to come out. It
There was
did.
no easy
There was
way.
no easy way for that to happen. But once
Right.
it did, then because of you, the way you handled it was you were just so full of grace. You were so full of forgiveness and
Not
grace,
always. At,
and
at the moments
at
where I
there
wasn't.
was moments when you weren't, but it was justified. It really was. But also, you could practice honesty even when it's uncomfortable. You
Mm,
know,
yeah. That
if
is
you ask me,
hard.
"Hey, babe, how's this dress look on me?" and I'm like, "You look
You have you
great."
have a couple times, and I was like, okay, I won't
Well,
ask
you
you
don't like
again.
being told that you don't look good in something,
Nobody does.
and it's not that I don't think you look good because I do, but it's that that dress is just not flattering or something, you know?
Says every man. Every man's like, do I lie or do I have to tell the truth? I don't want to get in a fight, but I don't want to hurt
Right.
feelings. I don't know what to do. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then, like learning how to make emotional connection the priority instead of the afterthought.
Right.
Like, so here's what so
Absolutely.
many people do. Okay. So they're really lazy when it comes to their marriage and their
Mhm.
relationship with God. Most people are. They are not very proactive at all. And so then all of a sudden the fire starts. The
Right.
wildfire starts.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I need to put this fire out. I need to get the water. I need to but really honestly, if you'd been tending to it all
Mhm.
along, it may not have ever happened.
Absolutely. Give the right amount of fertilizer, the right amount of water, the right amount of light, and it'll grow.
Well, I mean, we just have to be more intentional about making things a priority. People, okay, I'm such a hypocrite, but I'm going to say this. People who are in shape and are fit, they don't just accidentally find themselves at the gym. They don't just accidentally eat right one day. It is very, very much part of their life and their routine. They make it a priority. And I think with marriage, if you don't have a regular time together where we say, okay, we're going to prioritize our marriage. That means for us, we're going to go on a date every week.
Right.
That means for us, we're going to sit down and talk at least 10 minutes a day, or whatever plan you make, because there's no way to do that for everybody. Everybody's different, but what does that look like for you? And
Absolutely.
making that plan and sticking with it, it's kind of like going to the doctor and getting your checkup. Like, you wouldn't know if you had not gone to the doctor, we wouldn't have found out some things that needed to be addressed with you.
Right.
And it would have just kept going until it became
A
a,
real huge
a,
well,
a
it's a
huge issue.
silent killer thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been wound up dead on the floor, like, we never knew. But I'm
Yeah.
glad that we got found out the way we.
Yeah, and I think that that's the same thing with a marriage. It's like these things help, and so does counseling, by the way, and coaching. They help kind of with this maintenance after you get to the root of things. Kind of help with the maintenance level. Okay, like I go to the chiropractor once a month, but when my back goes out, I have to go like 3 times a week for like a month straight. And then when
Yeah,
it gets into alignment, then I can back off. I think it's
right.
the same type of thing. There's a
I think
maintenance
that's yeah, ma
level.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
But most people don't realize that affairs start with unmet emotional needs.
Right.
It's very rarely opportunity driven, because and connection stars out temptation. If you're ex
Yeah, that's true.
sorry. If you and your spouse are really connected, or you and your significant other are really connected, then that is going to
Meet the emotional
meet
needs.
the emotional needs that you've got. Absolutely.
And I think that's worth saying that men have emotional needs. Yeah. So men have emotional needs just like women. And I think so many times men are like, "Oh, I don't need anything. I'm fine. I don't need to talk to you about the way I feel, because if I do that, that means I'm weak. That means I have needs." And men don't typically want to admit that they have needs. That's like a no-no in our culture, is for a man to have any needs. So oftentimes what you find is a man who has a bunch of unmet emotional needs and a woman who's like, he won't talk to me,
Well,
you know?
I watched another video, and it was this woman, this woman who had written a book on women and what they should expect, something like that. And a man went to her book signing, and he's like, "What are you going to write a book about men?" And she says, "Well, I don't cover cover women." He's like, "Well, that's a shame." And she said, "Well, why?" She said, "Because my family, my daughters, and my wife, had rather see me die on my wife's work than just fall off."
Whoa,
And that gave me chills when he said that, because that's what every man feels.
that's so sad.
That's what every man feels, is that You've got to be strong for your
You have to be
family. You
perfect.
got to be strong for work. You got to be a provider. But then you have to have some time to yourself, which you give. That's the one big sacrifice that I think men make is time to themselves. And I think that I think that it's important for man to have man-to-man interaction,
Yes, which you
which I
need.
which I need. But at my age, it's kind of hard to say, "Hey, buddy, you want to be friends?" You
No, it's
know,
not. Our culture's made it weird, but it's
yeah.
not.
But I think that man has the white horse mentality where he's got to stay up there and look strong all the time, even though physically the guy's exhausted.
So
Yeah.
when you say men have emotional needs, what are men's emotional needs?
Well, we need words of positive affirmation as well.
Yeah.
We need to say, "Hey, babe, you lost some pounds," or "You look good in that shirt."
Or
You
you
know,
can do anything you put your mind
nah,
to.
that's kind of
No,
nah.
I mean like when you started this business, I'm like, you can do this.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
that's kind of funny about this business because I was kind of like forced into it.
Oh, I started it for you and handed
She
it to you.
started it for me. She's like, "All right, now it's your time." But
uh,
but yeah, I think that it's important for men to feel love, even though we don't tell you
but you
that.
experience it different than women.
Yeah, it's
Do
different
you?
emotion for us. Yeah,
It
it
is.
is different for us. Men aren't always about acts of service. We're just like words of positive affirmation.
I think
You
every
know,
man might be a little bit different, but
yeah.
yeah.
Well, women are word service
Well, women
and
are all over the
gifts.
place.
Yeah, women are.
They're
Whew.
emotional. They're sensitive. They need lots of affirmation. Usually, most women, not
Yeah,
all.
yeah. But I think that with a man, we've been taught, especially over the past few years, taught just from
Yeah,
because the whole male chauvinism thing came
yeah. You're
about,
such a
wokeness, and
yeah, exactly.
it's got men afraid to speak up
Mhm.
and say what they want or what they need or what they desire.
Right,
So it's just kind of like, okay, here I am, and nobody gives a flip about me.
right,
So
right.
yeah.
That's heartbreaking. I hate that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at um
Oh, predictor number two
yeah,
is
predictor number 2.
unaddressed hurt, bitterness, or resentment. Every marriage has it. Every marriage goes through it. Sometimes it can happen on a daily basis. Um, and it could be something as simple as your spouse snaps at you while they're working.
Oh, that must have happened to you.
Or you can forget about your spouse while you're working. I mean, it's not that we forget about you guys, it's just we get so caught up in our work that's all we think.
Yeah,
But
I get that. I mean, I get caught up in what I'm doing, and then I get irritated when my concentration is broken. And it's not that I am mad at the person. It's just I was so focused on what I was doing. I'm
right,
like, what?
right.
What did you say?
Absolutely.
I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. But okay, so what this looks like is one is you keeping score.
Yeah,
Like she did
tit for
this.
tat.
Yeah, it's a tit for tat. Tit for tat is childish.
Yeah, but
Not
we do
really.
it.
We do it. Absolutely, we do it.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, you did that. Well, let me do something that I know won't hurt
Yeah.
you.
One of your favorite comebacks, tit for tat type of way.
It is.
Like I'll point out something that you did. Well, you do it too.
You do X, Y, Z.
I
That
do X,
anyway.
Y, Z.
Yeah,
Anyway, we're
I
changing
don't
the
know.
subject
It
now.
is childish, but and we're kind of joking, but
Yeah, we joke
like
around
some
when we
people's
do it.
unprocessed hurt can be like feeling. A lot of women, I think, feel unheard or misunderstood,
Right.
and
Yes.
so I think that goes on for years and years and years. And she's been trying to tell him, "I need you to be more available to me emotionally. I need you to understand how I feel."
Absolutely.
And he's not responding, or he's
Right.
just like, "You're fine," whatever, doesn't engage with her on that level or doesn't affirm her in some ways.
Right.
After years of that, that can become just like unprocessed hurt. It becomes bitterness. It becomes, you know what, I don't even know why I talk to you. You never listen anyway.
Yeah.
And I mean that can lead to infidelity, especially for women, because I think with women, when they don't
Well,
feel like they're noticed anymore, they don't feel beautiful, they don't feel like when they walk into the room, their husband's like, "Oh my gosh."
well,
If
there's always that thing about replaying old arguments. But
yeah.
there's always somebody at your job that's gonna say, "Oh, man, you
She
do a
looks
great
so
job." I don't know
amazing.
how your husband doesn't notice that,
Right.
or your wife doesn't
And
notice
and that
that.
feels so good to you in the
Well,
moment.
yeah, if in the moment it does. It feels really good in the moment because you're getting that positive
Yeah.
affirmation. that
Yeah.
everybody needs, but nobody wants to admit to.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I need it. I like it. You know, I like being told I'm good. You know,
Yeah.
I like being told I'm doing a good job. So,
Yeah.
but also replaying old arguments, it's a definite no-no. Once you argue about it, once you resolve it, it should be done.
It's
There
hard
should be no
though.
use. You
Uh,
can't be put up on a shelf to use for later. You just can't be that.
it's really hard
It
when
is.
like what we've walked through, and there are moments where things pop into my head, and I really want to bring them up, and I want to say something. I want to like get angry, or I want to just like bring up something so, I wouldn't say random, but it's so not like in the conversation that we're having. I'm just like remembering this thing that about this detail that I want to know, and I'll just, instead of like working through that on my own and just praying to the Lord and releasing it, I will ask you, and that ends up being a not healthy situation, not productive, because oftentimes, depending on where you are with your headspace, it might end up being like you might start getting defensive, and I'm trying to pull you back out of being defensive. And you're like, why are you asking me about that? We were just having a great time. And then you have to bring that up. And you're like, I have no idea. Why did I ask? Like, I don't even know why I did that? So I think that kind of unprocessed pain, or replaying something that the other person did,
Right.
that moth is driving me
It's
insane.
yeah. These. Oh,
Um, sorry.
I don't know. But
That drives me
yeah,
insane. Yeah.
yeah, and it should anybody. It's gonna bother anybody. And I mean, sometimes people do it just to do it. You know, people can be petty in an argument. I know I can. If I get my little feelings hurt, I'm gonna try to hurt yours too.
Yeah.
It's
I
just a
mean,
normal
like,
human
but
reaction.
bringing up old wounds, I think it's an indication that maybe you haven't worked through them all the way.
Absolutely.
And I think as time goes on, and the more that you spend time with the Lord and maybe get some counseling and really release that thing and forgive the person, you will
Right.
stop constantly bringing it up.
Right.
But until that you feel heard by the other person, this is a good point, I think, is that if you are the offender in some
Right.
way, you've done something to your spouse and you've hurt them, you need to let them say what you've done and tell you how they feel about it. You don't need to try to shut them down. You don't need to try to act
Mm-mm.
like you didn't do anything wrong. They need to be heard and
Absolutely.
understood, because if you don't understand their pain, that's where frustration comes in.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
That's all you got to say about that.
Well, and I think letting wounds sit instead of working through them.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that even in when I was nursing, I did a lot of wound care, and if you didn't put the right medication, the right bandage, change it as often as it's supposed to be changed, if you don't take care of that wound and you let it sit there and fester, it's going to get infected.
Mm.
It's going to be pus.
And
There's
then
going to be
people lose their
drainage,
limbs.
and then you can lose your marriage
There's
because that
somebody you
one
worked
thing.
with. She lost her foot or something. Remember?
Hmm. That was in Oklahoma.
It was something weird. Like, I don't know if she had her. I don't know why it happened.
She crazy story, man. She was my med aide back then, and she had cut her foot. She's a diabetic, and she had cut her foot. And diabetes, if you get a cut foot, it almost instantly gets infected.
Mm.
And she had let that thing go for so long.
Yeah,
I think I sent you the picture.
yeah.
Yeah, but we're sitting there at work one night or one day, and I kept smelling this odor, and I'm walking up down the hallway. I'm like, "Where is that coming from?" And I go I'm standing beside this med aide, and I'm like, "Oh my God, that's you!" And I'm like, "When's the last time you took care of that?" And she just looked at me real big eyed, and she's like, "Well, I haven't." And I'm like, "Look, I need you to take your shoe off right now and let me see it." Well, she wouldn't do it. She said she left and she went to the doctor, and then the next day her foot was gone. It
Oh
it
my
was
gosh!
gangrenous. It was gangrene all the way up to her knee.
Wow, how
Um,
could she not know
she
that?
knew it, but she was not mentally sound. She was not.
I
There's a
can't
lot to
imagine
that
the pain
story.
level too of that. And I think, like, if you correlate that to people with
Yeah,
their emotional wounds and not getting the healing, it's like that. It just escalates until it becomes
absolutely.
almost like you can't, you can't go back now.
Right.
Like you went too far. and now the relationship's gonna die because you let it go so far.
Yeah, you've got to take care of that wound, and if there's something that your spouse has done or said to you in public or something like that, then you need to address that immediately, but you need to address it in a
I
respectful
think
way.
we do that pretty
I
well,
think we do that pretty
cause
well.
like,
We don't really do that to each other in public,
there's been
though.
a couple of times where we've done this to each other. We said something, we'd be in front of the presence of other people, and we
Ah,
would say something to the other person, and it was, like,
r
not it was kinda mean or just not appropriate, not bad, but it was just, like, hurtful,
right.
and then we would leave, and the other person would be like, "Why did you say that to me? I don't appreciate
I was
that."
you talking about me.
I did it to you too a couple times, and I'm like, "I don't know why I did
I
that."
think we just get so
Like
caught up in the moment,
right.
and we just have mouth diarrhea. Just let stuff come out. That's all.
Like, where did that even come from? But even
Right,
things like that can start small, and then you don't deal with it. You don't say, "That you hurt my feelings when you did that." I mean,
right.
like, I don't know what you meant, but this is how it felt to me, and
Yep,
what did you mean?
absolutely.
And if you're mature enough, you can have a conversation with your
And
spouse
don't get
about it.
defensive. If you did something that genuinely offended your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, if you do something that genuinely offends them,
Mhm.
then it's up to you as a man or a woman to sit there and listen to what you say they did
Yeah.
and or what they say you did
Yeah.
and resolve to
And
fix it.
resolve it. If you
Yeah.
don't resolve it, it will fester.
Yeah.
And then there is
Ugh.
assuming the worst in each other. I've seen
Assuming
people
the
do this.
worst. I have to. I've seen marriages. I'm like, dude, why don't you just go ahead and get divorced?
Yeah, like, dude,
You
you
guys are
you
miserable.
hate each other. Like,
Yeah. Like, okay, so nursing, I don't like to keep going back to nursing, but in nursing, you've got this one nursing station, and you got like 5 nurses sitting at it, and they start talking, oh, my old man, or my old lady did this last night. I just wanted to wring her neck. And I'm like,
he was saying
you,
her old man. I've never heard a woman do that.
oh, yeah, they
My
say
old
it sometimes.
man.
Yeah,
Wow.
they say it sometimes. But it's just, and I'm like, have you talked to him about it? Well, no, because it just causes an argument. Well, then don't complain about it,
Right.
because you're not trying to resolve it, to fix it. You're just sitting there getting angry about it. So,
But how does that correlate to assuming the worst in each other?
well, because it's something they're going to automatically assume that there's going to be an argument if they say something. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
yeah.
Like, oh, I know her. I
Well,
can't talk to her about
yeah.
this
Yeah, and
because
I also think, like, I have to make decisions every day where I'm like, I have a choice. I can
yes,
I can trust in you, the person that you are now, and God in you, and assume the best,
right,
or I can assume the worst. Every time you leave the house, I can assume the worst if I want to.
right,
About what you're going to do, where you're going to be. And I'm telling you, I've been down both roads, and I don't want to go down that assuming the worst road, because that is a torturous place to be for
absolutely,
anyone to live in a place. And it's kind of like judgment. Honestly, it's like you're judging the other person and they haven't even done anything yet. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
absolutely,
You're just prejudging them. And honestly, only God is our judge.
yeah. We don't have the right to judge anyone. We're not
Right.
we're not anybody's jury. We're not anybody's judge. We're not anybody's. We're not. It's not up to me to keep somebody
Yeah.
accountable. They should do that if they're adults already. If you see somebody doing something wrong, I think you should try to steer them, but not ride them about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, in the context of marriage, I think that um, make an effort to not assume the worst. I'm
absolutely.
not saying be gullible and stupid and naive, but don't always assume that your spouse is lying to
Yeah,
you or is a terrible person or blah 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 blah. I mean, if you feel that way, you internally need to dialogue with the Lord. Like there's something going on with you that the Lord needs to work through with you.
absolutely.
It's you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, the other person may have done some things. I get that, but that is not a Christ-like attitude. So that's reflecting pain that you haven't worked through
Yep,
probably,
that's
you know?
absolutely correct. Absolutely
So I probably
correct.
made somebody mad on that, but I've been there. So
But when the heart hardens, the marriage becomes spiritually exposed,
yeah.
and a wounded heart doesn't look for sin. But you got these little gremlins running around,
Mhm.
and they see that you have a wounded heart and hurt feelings, where they're going to jump in and say, "Hey, but this person over here is going to respect you.
Yeah, the
They're
devil
going to
knows how to
want
set
you."
set you up with somebody.
Absolutely.
Put you in the right place at the
Yeah.
right time and
You just have to remember, Satan's a liar.
send that you know,
Yeah.
person into your life that is
Absolutely.
a temptation for you for sure.
Right.
And I'm just gonna say this nicely. I have been in situations, multiple church situations where, there were affairs between people on staff, worship leaders,
Right.
people that were serving as musicians, band members. I've seen so much infidelity in the church, and it
Absolutely.
really makes you realize how hard Satan worked to get in and divide people in those positions, or when people are doing the work of God and things are changing, he
Yes.
will try to find the weakest link in the group, in the
Yes, he will.
marriage. He'll try to find the weakest marriage and work his way in there. I've seen it so many times.
Well, Satan's had thousands of years to perfect the skill, and if you leave that opening, he's coming in.
Yeah, and that's all about catching the foxes, because if you take care of your emotional needs between you and your spouse, if you are emotionally regulated, you're not disconnected, and you are processing hurt and pain with each other and communicating, then you'll do a much better job of keeping that gate closed where he can't get in.
Right.
So
Right. And a neglected wound does become a doorway. Like we've already covered
yeah,
it. Yeah, is that one spot where you were hurt, Satan's going to come in. He's going to wreck it.
yeah,
Best thing you can do is communicate.
yeah, and knowing when to get help. I mean, like sometimes that wound is just too big for you to try to address yourself, and you might need to get a counselor. Just you by
Absolutely.
yourself. It's okay to go
Absolutely.
by yourself for counseling,
Yes, it
even
is.
about your marriage.
And if someone does say something that hurts your feelings, then it's really important that you use the word
What do you mean?
forgiveness. Well, if let's just say we're talking about something and you snap without even meaning to, I
Yeah.
don't need to carry that. I need to immediately forgive
Oh, yeah.
and move forward because I know that in your heart you didn't mean to do that.
I think that that's assuming the best about your spouse instead of the
Absolutely.
worst, and I think it's also um, giving someone the benefit of the doubt. Okay, so
Yes.
like the other day, I can't remember what it was you did, but I mean, my little childish fleshly side was like,
What
get
did I
mad,
do?
and then I was like, I ain't got time to get mad. Whatever, I don't even care. Okay, you did that, fine. I don't even care. Like it was just like I
I
just
don't even remember
didn't.
what I
I don't
did.
remember what it was either. It wasn't that big of a deal. I don't
Wow.
remember something you said or something you did. It was childish, but I was like, I'm not going down that road. I'm
Yeah.
just not doing it.
Wow.
But I just said, I'm just gonna forgive you, even you didn't even know you did anything, but I just let
Absolutely.
it
Because
go,
you
you
know what? A
know?
lot of times you don't realize that you've hurt that person's feelings until they
Right.
come up and tell you. So this whole time you're carrying around that anger or that poor pitiful me thing about something that I said or something
Mhm.
that you said, and it's not necessary because you don't even realize that you did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're over here in your own world. The other
Yeah.
person doesn't even know they did anything to you. But you're
Absolutely.
just carrying this offense around like a chain around, a ball and chain
Yeah.
around you.
Okay, so you've got conflict going on. Your marriage is a little bit vulnerable. You have to set boundaries outside of your
I don't
marriage.
think people know what boundaries are anymore.
Okay, well,
Seriously.
this is something that you and I have talked about.
Yeah,
Um,
we just talked about that today,
yeah,
actually.
okay, and what a boundary is that I'm not going to talk to women. I'm
Mhm.
not going to be around other women. I'm not going to hug other women. I'm not going to do anything that's going to cause you to have anxiety.
Yeah.
And it's not out of fear, it's out of respect for you that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Um, I think that that's the boundary. Don't let someone come in and say, "Man, you know what? I just don't think that. I don't think they appreciate
Mm.
you're such an awesome person."
You
If
talking
they
about somebody of
knew,
the opposite
yeah,
sex
somebody of
and
the
your
opposite
spouse?
sex,
Yeah.
yeah, or even a friend come in and say, "You
Yeah.
know what?" Because friends can be dogs,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
but they can come in. They can say, "You know what? I
It's
don't think
not
they
really a
appreciate you.
friend.
You need to divorce him. I got another man you can have,
Yeah.
or another woman you can have." Keep out the negative influence.
Yeah. Build those boundaries. Your marriage is way more important than any other relationship in your life. And if you're not willing to cut other people off that aren't in your
Right.
marriage, something's wrong. Like I
Absolutely.
get it if it's your family, that's a hard one and you still have to have boundaries there. Your spouse still has to come first.
Yes.
But when it's a friend or a coworker and you don't want to give up that relationship, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And you need to reevaluate yourself, because your spouse has every right to say, I don't want you around that person anymore because it makes me feel super uncomfortable or
Right.
whatever. I'm not saying like being manipulated by your spouse, but I'm saying within reason,
Yes.
somebody they just sense that something is not right in that situation.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, you want to talk about number 3?
Let's do it.
Predictor number 3.
And this is the most predictable path to infidelity. And couples really, a lot of times, don't even recognize what it is.
Yeah.
But one is innocent text conversations with someone of the opposite sex.
Well, it's called boundary drift.
Yeah.
And so what we were just talking about leads into this
That's a cool
boundary
way of
drift.
saying it, boundary.
So this is where you had boundaries initially. You're like, okay, in our marriage, we don't text with people of the opposite sex. Sext. What did I say? Whatever.
Right.
We don't meet other people for coffee or lunch if it's
Right.
not business related, whatever.
Absolutely.
Because that is something I have to do sometimes, and I
Yeah.
can't help it.
Right. And I will have to eventually meet people. Like I had to go to that lady's
Yeah.
house here in Henderson the other day.
Yeah.
And I can give her an estimate, by the way. But yeah, don't do it. Don't do it secretly. Text conversations start off innocent, but they can usually devolve very, very quickly.
I think that was the case with you, wasn't
Uh-huh.
it? It was just a work thing, and then it just
Yeah.
became.
It was blown up there.
Yeah, and a lot of people do that. And I think that because social media is so readily available, everybody has a cell phone, a smartphone now.
Absolutely.
Do you know a lot of, I mean, people are incredibly creative and they'll figure out ways to have affairs. But I think with the way the technology is now, it's so much easier for people to have affairs nonstop.
It is easier. Much easier.
I
now.
mean, there's so many more traps sitting
Uh-huh.
out there for you. Like, I mean, it just takes one text from somebody that maybe you think that person's attractive and they noticed you. And oh
Right.
my gosh, they noticed me. And then all of a sudden you start feeling like butterflies and you're like, God, like
Right.
that is how it starts for so many people.
Absolutely is how it starts.
That's why I'm not a fan of men and women texting each other. Even if that's between you and your spouse, but I just don't like it. If you need to text me and you're a man, maybe we should group text with my husband. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
would prefer it be that way. Like I don't want you having your own little text thread going with my spouse. Some people like using WhatsApp and using all these awful apps to like hide their conversations and giving themselves different names.
Absolutely.
It's unbelievable the lengths people will go to
Mhm.
hide their affairs.
Yes, it is.
You know.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Another thing that you're not supposed to do is you don't vent to someone else.
I think that's probably the worst thing you could ever do.
It's very, very sad that when you do that, it's like you're talking bad about someone who you're supposed to spend the rest of your life with in a negative way, the opposite sex. And we keep going back to this. They're going to say, oh, well, they don't appreciate you like I would.
Yeah, you're opening the door, man. You're just opening the
Absolutely.
door. It's like, did you want to open the door?
Absolutely.
Because you just made it so easy for the devil to come in and go, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Let me
Right.
destroy your life.
You just left the door open for a man. This is where that story of the man who has exorcised the demon, but he said hollow on the
right.
inside,
Yeah.
and 3 more came in behind
7.
him. Yeah.
7 more came
7
in.
more came in behind him.
I'm talking about this man was full of demons by the time it was said and done, Yeah.
Mhm. Absolutely.
But like also I think a lot of people keep secrets
They
from their
do, and the
spouse.
whole thing, like, it's not a big deal. Well, this ties up to the texting
Yeah.
conversations. Um, you have access to my phone 24 hours a day.
You know what? And while we're saying this, and I'm not gonna go any, I'm just gonna keep it really superficial. But there have been men that have messaged me on Facebook, and I have told you,
Yeah.
because I did not ever want you to find it and be like, "What is this?"
Right.
And
Absolutely.
that would open a door for you to be insecure and be like, "Why is she talking to this person behind my back?"
Right.
So
Right.
all those little things matter, and they are a big deal.
Yeah, we had the Latin lover that wanted to hook up with you for
Yeah, whatever.
yeah. We never found out what his name was. Obscure text messages. But
Anyway.
also social media interactions. Social media is a death trap.
I've wondered if it's from the devil, to be honest with you.
On social media, I'm making friends with other people who are in a similar business as I am, like real estate, other woodworkers, other construction guys. If you own a construction company, I want to be your friend because eventually
Yeah.
maybe we can start showing each other work. Like this plumber texted me the other day, a guy, hey man, you ever have anybody needs plumbing? Let me know. I was like, well, heck, if you have anybody needs any construction, let me know.
Right.
So there you go. But yeah,
Yeah.
social media,
I think you gotta be really careful with social media, and that's
you
just
do.
an individual couple thing where
Absolutely.
you've got to decide, like, okay, I think it's best, and we're in agreement, that we don't have social media or you not have one or whatever. Like,
Yeah,
depends on like the circumstances. If the
absolutely.
person has a real bad problem and they've shown in the past that they can't be trusted,
Mhm.
it might be best to just like not even have. But then you're like, okay, are they having a secret one behind my back? Because that happens. I
Absolutely, it
mean, all the
happens.
time, people have a whole other phone that nobody knows about
Oh god.
with different names and
Yeah.
it's just it's a rabbit hole that you
Well,
don't want to go down, but
and it's always found out.
it is. It's
It's
going to come
always
to the
found out. It
surface.
is gonna come to, especially if you're a Christian,
Mhm.
God will bring that soup
And if you got
out.
a praying spouse, he's gonna bring it out. So that's
Mhm.
all I can say, ladies and gentlemen, is if you have suspicions, instead of like going on a detective hunt, which I know you will, 'cause I did that. You can't help yourself. You actually just want to pray and you
Yeah,
want to just ask the Lord to expose it
absolutely.
because He has ways of exposing things that we could never do on our own.
Yep,
And if you're that
absolutely.
concerned about it, turn it over to Him for sure.
Well, and if you feel excitement when someone else is interacting with you, that is a definite red flag, and
Yeah.
that is definitely, I like that word, boundary drift. I like that
Boundary
saying, I like that.
drift. Yeah.
But if you get excited whenever you hear that somebody's coming to your home or you're gonna meet them somewhere, that's definitely a red flag.
Or when your phone goes off and it's them texting
Yeah,
you, or you
yeah,
see them at work, and
absolutely.
then you're like, "Hey, you want to just like go get some coffee real
You wanna
quick?"
hang
And then
out?
the boundary just keeps drifting, and then before
Right.
you know it, you're in a full. I mean, I've heard stories. I've listened to them, different people's testimonies about this. And I'll throw this in here really quick because I think it goes very well with this. I
Right.
watched this woman and her husband talk about their marriage and how it was just catastrophically destroyed because they had gotten so busy and they were in ministry together and he was gone all day long. He was gone all day at the church or whatever. She was at home with the kids and she thought she was fine. And
Right.
then one day she's serving at church or something and this younger guy who was also, I don't know if he was on staff or what, but he just started showing her attention. And it started out with just, "Oh my gosh, that made me feel so good." She's
Mhm.
like, "Wow." And then it kind of drifts into getting a little more, inappropriate, and then they're texting each other, and then that turns into something else. And before you know it, she gets caught at the hotel with this guy who's way younger than her.
Oh, oh,
And you talk about devastating her husband who had no idea what was going on, but
mm,
he stayed with her and helped her work through it because he realized that and they realized that she had all of these like emotional vortex. She had these issues that were so deep. And that's usually the issue with people who cheat is it's there's a huge need underneath all of this, and I'm not excusing their actions, but I'm saying there's something else going on, and that's what happened with her. And but he forgave her. They worked it out. They have a beautiful marriage now. But that boundary just kept drifting and drifting, and there was always a reason to let it drift. Well, it's just this. Oh, it just let's just excuse that. It wasn't that big of a deal.
if you have to make an excuse for it, it's wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you've got to make an excuse and justify why you're talking to someone of the opposite
Uh,
sex, it's wrong.
like, would you? Let's see. If Jesus were sitting right there with you, would you still talk to that person?
No,
If you really believe, like, that's how I would determine it.
absolutely. I agree with that.
Or my mom. If my
Yeah.
mom is in the room, would I be talking to this person like this?
Mm,
Uh,
Lord, no.
yeah, exactly.
Mm.
So, yeah,
Well, and you need to remember, guys, that infidelity always starts with a slow drip.
yeah.
It
It's not a
doesn't. It
jump.
doesn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not a huge
not
jump.
usually.
Yeah, it's just like we've already discussed, smiling at each other, talking to each other, texting with each other, and it just completely devolves from there. And
Yeah.
secrets happen. So,
Yeah. So, just some practical takeaways from that predictor
mhm.
is not, don't have private conversations that you wouldn't show your spouse.
Yes,
Don't vent or emotional dump outside of your marriage. If you
right,
got to do that, find a girlfriend, or if you're a woman,
right.
find a
No,
friend, a female
you
friend.
better
If you're
clear
a
that
man,
up.
find a male friend and
Yeah,
talk to them a little bit about it. Don't find someone of the opposite sex. And that's really hard because it's like you want a man's opinion if you're a woman. Okay, you
right.
want a man's, but that's dangerous. Avoid one-on-one time that creates emotional intimacy with someone else. That can be challenging when you have to work
It can be.
on the road, or like you are working these 12-hour shifts or 15-hour shifts sometimes.
Hmm. Absolutely. You got to keep your heart guarded.
And I want to say real quick, if you're in nursing, you should be super careful because what I've found out about nurses is it's such a stressful environment and the hours and doctors, the hours are so long that it's very common for infidelity
Yes, it is.
to be rampant in
Well,
nursing.
before you even know what's happening,
Yeah, and I
you
think
know.
it's because of the stress of the
Well,
job.
you're with you with another nurse more than you with your own family.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I mean, that's just the business, though. You work
Right.
for 12 to 15-hour days. You go in at 6 in the morning. You don't get home till like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. It's just time to go to
Mhm.
bed.
Right.
You have spent 15 hours or 16 hours with somebody of the opposite sex. So you're
Yeah.
spending more time with them.
And I hated that because you were a male in a very female predominant profession, and I
Yeah,
always hated that,
yeah,
which is probably not good for guys to spend on.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about how to use these predictors as protection and not fear. Because what we don't want to do is, incite fear in people.
Right.
So, awareness isn't fear, it's wisdom. It's just a little
Absolutely.
bit of wisdom to
Yeah.
notice things and to be a little more aware.
Well, you know how I act, and I know how you act.
Mhm.
And if you start seeing something that's concerning, then you need to talk and say,
Yes.
"Hey, I'm
Yes.
noticing some things going on here,
Yeah.
and every time this person comes around, you get nervous, sweaty, and
Yeah.
yeah, definitely,
Absolutely. Don't avoid it. Don't stuff it under
right,
the rug. Don't act like you didn't see it. See, one of the problems I've had in the past is living in denial about things,
mm,
not wanting to face it. So my
right,
go-to is just deny it, act like it didn't happen.
right,
And then I keep thinking it's going to go away, but it doesn't. So if you feel like something is not right, you
hmm
definitely need to have a conversation with your spouse.
absolutely, absolutely." And you don't have to be perfect, guys. You just have to be intentional. Perfection, there is no one that's perfect. The only person who's ever perfect is Jesus Christ. Um, you have to do things with intention. You can't just sit there and halfway do anything.
Or just think it's going to happen on its own.
Right,
Like your
because nothing
marriage is
happens
going to
on its
be
own.
amazing and you didn't even do anything.
Well, a lot of times people get married and think it's just going to be all unicorns and rainbows with raining gumdrops. And
Yeah,
that
that would
is
be nice.
not marriage. Marriage is work.
Marriage
Marriage
is
is a
work.
full-time job.
Marriage is dying to yourself, but there's also good parts of marriage
Yeah,
too.
I
If
agree.
you put God in the center of it, He can absolutely make it an enjoyable experience. Will you have some rough patches?
Right.
Yeah, you will. But I think the good times will far outweigh the bad ones if God's in the center of your marriage. And then I think God will strengthen the areas that you're willing to surrender. That's the thing. Are you willing to surrender
Yeah,
an area to God? Like for women,
absolutely.
that's going to be like control. Okay, so women
But be careful.
desire to control because we
Yeah.
feel, um, we just feel like because I hate to say this, but because we're the weaker sex, quote unquote. I hate to say it that
Feminists are
way,
going
but
to
I don't
yell
know
at
how
you.
else to say it. I mean, that's pretty much how the Bible describes it. And
Right.
weaker not being a bad thing, but just being physically weaker than a man, that
Mhm.
makes us automatically feel very vulnerable,
It does.
very unsafe.
Yes, it
And
does.
so I think um, control is one of the ways that we try to take our power back from men. If I can control him, then I can control the outcome. I can keep myself safe. As a woman, you have to learn how to surrender that to God, and
Absolutely.
that's a work, man. That is
It
something
is a
the
lot
Holy
of work.
Spirit has to take you
Yes.
through.
But be careful when you ask that God to do that. When you ask God to intervene, or when you ask God to strengthen the areas that you're willing to surrender, because He's going to come in with a wrecking ball and He is going to clean out that closet.
Man, you
And He,
make him sound like he's so just rough
no, no, look, I love the Lord. I do. But my living testimony is that He wrecked, you
because
know,
you wouldn't listen.
right. And plus,
Yeah.
He let me wreck myself before He stepped
Some
in
people
and
are more
finished the
hard
job
headed.
off.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I love the Lord, and I'm thankful for how God treated me over the past year and a half. I'm really thankful for that because I've got a relationship now with God that I've never had in my life.
Yeah.
There were times when I'd walk with the Lord, but I always strayed away. But this time here, it's just like my soul is craving.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it is.
Yep. He lives inside of you.
He
Can't get away
does.
from him.
Yep.
So I guess we should kind of wrap this up
Let's
and
do it.
how do you want to wrap this up?
Let's do a prayer.
All right. Go
All
for it.
right. Lord, reveal any area in our marriage that needs healing, connection, stronger boundaries. Help us protect what you entrusted us with. Guard our hearts, unite us, and restore anything that has drifted away. Amen.
Yeah, that's definitely a prayer he wants to answer, and he will answer because the motive is right.
Yeah.
Lord, come into this marriage, restore it, reveal things, strengthen us, bring us back into unity.
Yeah.
Because a unified marriage is a marriage that God can use for kingdom purpose, which is really the ultimate goal of every marriage. It's not even about you being happy or you being fulfilled. It's really about God advancing the kingdom, his kingdom in the earth.
Yep.
We just get to enjoy a beautiful marriage as a byproduct,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
So if you and your spouse feel vulnerable in any of those areas that we talked about today, you are not alone.
No, you're not.
We love to pray with you, talk with you, or help you determine whether you need counseling, coaching, or a simple reset.
All right.
So send us a message at shannawilliams.com. Let us know where you are, what you're thinking, what you need. We'd love to set up a call with you and talk with you, see if there's any ways that we can help you.
That's right. And remember, 55% of the marriages in this country end up in divorce.
It's something like that. It used to be 50, but I think it is a
I
little
think
bit
it's
higher
grown up a
now.
little bit. So we need to change those numbers.
Yeah.
Divorce has become easy.
The norm.
Yeah, divorce has become the norm. But we need to make divorce an oddity.
Yeah.
I have given my wife more than one reason to divorce me since we've been together. And only through her love, forgiveness, and steadfastness have we managed to stay where we are. But I'm not afraid to admit that. But I just lost myself. Yeah. But divorce has become too easy.
Yeah.
And whenever we go to a lawyer first, instead of going to a counselor or someone that can talk to us, that's where the problem is.
Yeah, have you exhausted every
Yeah.
option before you turn to that,
Yeah, help us help you, save you thousands of dollars.
Man, I think, and that's a good point to make. I mean, going through a reboot with us, it does cost a little money,
Yes,
but it's way cheaper than a divorce would be.
it is.
And it's so much better.
It's better on your kids, too.
Better on your kids, better on your pocketbook, better on your life in
Absolutely.
general. So reach out to us
Yep.
if there's any way, or if you just want to get more information about the marriage reboot or
Yeah.
marriage coaching. And we also have courses that we teach as well, or take you through it, actually. So
Absolutely.
any of those options would be amazing, probably for anybody that's serious about changing their marriage, making it better.
Absolutely.
So that is it for this week.
That's it.
I guess we will talk to you or see you guys soon.
I'm sorry for a late happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I hope you're full of chest pie, cake, turkey, and whatever else y'all
Gained
eat.
5 pounds. Yeah.
I've gained 4 pounds.
Yeah, me too, I'm
Look
sure.
at you. Yeah. But anyway, Lord, loved. I hope you'll have a blessed night.
Yep. Bye.
All right.